Alright. I saw your comments, friend. I initially avoided this video story for a while because I don't have as much knowledge about Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't had as much time to get into it. I've only watched about half of the first season, which actually feels like a travesty. But with how popular the manga is currently, I've been considering finding a place to jump back in. And so I started looking up some of the powers, hoping to explain to me why everyone thinks that Gojo can beat Goku. But honestly, I don't want to get into that debate because, as I said, my experience with Jujutsu Kaisen is very little. But I mean, how hard can it be to port over a simple power like Six Eyes and Limitless? Uh-oh. Maybe I should have just done the what if Jotaro Kujo was a Konoha shinobi instead. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. Everyone's story starts relatively the same way. There are different variations to this story, but most scholars agree that every real-world story generally starts with a person being born. And that is no different in Naruto. It was a cold and crisp fall night, October 10th. The fourth Hokage and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki, were prepared in a secret location to give birth to their first child, Naruto. Unbeknownst to them, this would be their only child, and sadly, they would not live to see him grow up. For years, their own child would not even know who they were. This was the fate that destiny had written for them. The babe was born, and the moment its eyes opened, all in the room gasped to see how clear and blue these eyes were. It was as if an angel had stepped out of heaven and entered the body of this tiny child. They were mesmerized, which only made the babe's tears all the more heart-wrenching. Bringing the baby to its mother, they lay it upon her chest for her to hold. Minato, ever jealous, slowly made his way toward her, but this was when tragedy struck. A ghost from the past appeared and took the child up in his arms, ready to kill it unless he got what he wanted. And this led to a scuffle in which Kushina was taken. Naruto was taken by Minato, who would bring him to a small cottage outside the village proper. There, Naruto would be laid down. The stress from the process of birth had drained the poor babe of energy and left it asleep. He did not know of the horrible events transpiring outside of his home. In the village, many people were dying. Minato had to stop this. A moment after, the bed would shift as another body was laid in it. This was Kushina. Minato had rescued her, but she wasn't in good shape. Naruto hardly noticed this, however, as he was still sleeping the sleep of the innocent, blissfully unaware of the cataclysm taking place just beyond the mountains, or the position his parents were in. "Naruto," Kushina said as she snuggled closer to him. Naruto, even as a babe, still possessed the thinking power required to notice things. Inborn intelligence, something all people had but couldn't remember. Wordless thoughts, ideas that could not be expressed or understood by any but himself. But if one could translate what he thought at this moment, it would be akin to, "She's cold. I'm cold. Why is she sad?" The truth of the matter was that Kushina was dying, and she knew she was dying. She knew she would not get to see Naruto grow up, and she knew that those she loved in the village were suffering because of her self-identified failure. She failed as a wife, as a mother, and as a Jinchuriki. Kushina's heart was in anguish, blaming herself for forcing Minato to choose, blaming herself for leaving her child behind at the cusp of life, and blaming herself for not somehow stopping the Ninetales from being removed and causing havoc. This emotional turmoil had her both wishing she could die and wishing she could live at the same moment. To live for those she loved, to die for her shame. All she could do was cuddle the tiny body that once had been a part of her. Offer it what little comfort she had been denied. It was quiet. No, there were sounds in the distance. Drums? Explosions. The cacophony of war, the smell of smoke, blood, and sweat. That smell only grew more intense as a charge was felt in the air, as if lightning was about to strike. And suddenly it did, an explosion that blew the house away. Minato, making a hard choice, had teleported the tailed beast back to their home. The house was destroyed, everything blown apart. Kushina, in a moment of motherly instinct, wrapped her body around Naruto to cushion him as they flew through the air. She landed on her back and rolled along the ground. The first thing she thought to check was if Naruto was okay, which of course he was. But Kushina, on the other hand, felt as if at least 2 of her ribs were broken, others were bruised. She managed to find a place to put Naruto and began to enter the fight. Naruto was crying from the experience. For what reason should one be brought into a world in such a turbulent place? Where was the peace of a bed? Where was the warmth of a mother? This child was surrounded by only cold and death. For this child, winter had come early, and with it, the bitter winds that finished off what little life autumn had spared. There was fighting and the sound of chains, the sound of death moving through the forest to answer the siren call of hand signs and the flow of chakra. A growl and a cry. He felt the warmth of his parents' blood dripping on his little chest. And for that moment, time stopped. Reality had offered them a brief respite. Naruto heard the words of his parents. What were they saying? He could hardly make sense of it, but he didn't need to. Their words carried with them their hearts, and that brought Naruto peace. But this time would not last forever. Time resumed, and suddenly Naruto felt as if he had been punched in the stomach, his body being invaded by the malevolent force of a ravenous beast that threatened to rip him apart. But within his very soul, 2 lights shined, and those 2 lights fought a second, smaller battle. One to force dominion over the beast into the hands of the baby. To put the keys to the cage of destruction into his hand. And with that, the world returned to balance, equilibrium. The state in which everything was returning. And now that there was time to breathe, there was also time to wail. Over the mountains, the screams of childless mothers and motherless children echoed. The sounds of shinobi, killers whose hearts were so soft that they cried for the dead they never knew. Pain. That was what this world was attempting to teach Naruto. Pain. Fresh from the womb, and he was already learning life's hardest lesson. Sorrowfully for this child, this was but the beginning of the tribulations. Hiruzen would find the babe and lift him into his arms. The child of the late Kushina Uzumaki and the 4th Hokage, the legendary Minato Namikaze. It was so weak that it could hardly shiver in his arms anymore. He needed to find it help, and to that end, he would bring it to the Konoha hospital to rest, vowing to his parents that he would not leave Naruto to die in the gutters. And that's what he did, no more and no less. Hiruzen had his pros and cons, as I suppose any political leader does, but the point was he had very little to do with Naruto. Not so much that he didn't want to, but the point was he was the center of such a volatile situation. If Hiruzen ever openly embraced Naruto, he'd be pushed from office, his head removed from the monument. But perhaps that was his duty. Perhaps his legacy and status didn't matter, but the job. These were feelings Hiruzen so often struggled with, but like many things in his time, he was too weak to do anything about it. Naruto continued to grow, and as he did, he found himself many days at around the same time, 4 p.m., developing a killer migraine. Hiruzen walked in on him one day as he suffered through this. He asked what was wrong with Naruto, and Naruto said his head hurt and that his eyes were in pain. He had a warm rag laying across his face. As Hiruzen sat down, Naruto would suddenly tell him to stop. A moment passed. Naruto pointed somewhere else in the room. "Sit on that chair. This one has a bad leg. It'll break if an adult sits on it." Hiruzen noticed this as he looked at it. "How did you know?" he asked Naruto. Naruto shrugged. "Same way you do. I'm looking at it." Hiruzen seemed confused. "Wait, you can see me right now?" Naruto nodded. Hiruzen slowly turned his hat around. "If you can, then tell me what's wrong with my outfit." "You're wearing your hat backwards now." Hiruzen seemed startled by this. Returning his hat to its rightful position, he would slowly remove the rag from Naruto's eyes and look at them. For a moment, he had assumed that they were Byakugan, but they looked nothing like them. Such a dojutsu had never before existed to their knowledge. So what was this? Perhaps a mutation in his DNA? Genetics? He would have them checked out by an ophthalmologist who just so happened to be in the Hyuga clan. They would let him know that it bears no resemblance to any dojutsu they've seen before, let alone the Byakugan. Hiruzen would ask them if there's a reason why he constantly gets migraines. The ophthalmologist would say that despite the fact that these eyes don't consume any chakra, with all the details and the way that they can see, they get strained easily. The ophthalmologist asks if Naruto can possibly turn this dojutsu off, to which he claims he can't. The ophthalmologist thinks for a moment. "It works like an active Byakugan at all times. Best course of action, if you ask me, would be to reduce eye strain. The way to do that would likely be by covering his eyes with something for most parts of the day." Hiruzen asks if that would affect him negatively. The ophthalmologist shakes his head. No, we're merely restricting his vision a little. We're treating this the opposite way one would treat an astigmatism. Instead of giving him glasses to help him see better, we're going to be putting something in front of them to obstruct his vision in hopes that it lowers the strain of all the information his brain has to process. Something as simple as blacked out glasses or even a simple cloth covering should work, and it shouldn't negatively impact his ability to see or read. And so that's what they did. Hiruzen would offer Naruto a pair of green goggles to wear. These goggles would have blacked out lenses in them so that he could wear them at all times. After this, Naruto's issue completely vanished. However, this did cause him to fall behind in school, as he had yet to realize that if he left them uncovered during the time he was receiving a demonstration, he could have picked up techniques as quickly as an Uchiha or a Hyuga. But because of this, he slowly began falling behind in classes, failing time after time. He could not create a simple clone or do any other jutsu. This left Naruto very sad on the swing. Watching his friends pass and move on, he felt as if he would never become a shinobi, not like Iruka, let alone become Hokage. He hoped that by becoming Hokage, or at least a really good ninja, that perhaps he may be accepted, but nothing seemed to be working. That was until Mizuki convinces him to steal the Scroll of Seals. Boy, that was a crap fest. Naruto stole it and he knew it was wrong, but he didn't know how wrong. And so he opened the scroll and began looking into it with how to learn to make clones. To help understand better, he took off his goggles, and he indeed did learn how to make shadow clones, but he learned how to do far more than that. On a page that seemed to talk about Izanagi, he discovered two lesser talked about chakra natures, yin release and yang release, dark and light nature. He knew about these to a point, but not that much. He grew fascinated with the concept of using these two chakra natures, since both existed in everyone to a point. In fact, the other chakra types originated from these two types. He hoped to use the scroll to practice it, but he didn't have much time as Mizuki would appear to take it. But Iruka also made his appearance. He tried to convince Naruto not to give the scroll up, while Mizuki attempted to convince him to hand it over. This led to a fight that Iruka was losing, and so Naruto would run as far away as possible, but Mizuki was faster than him. He eventually caught Naruto where he had nowhere left to go. Naruto held the scroll tightly in his arms as he witnessed Mizuki growing closer and closer to him. "You should have just given me the scroll, boy. If you had, maybe you wouldn't have needed to die. But now, well, let's just say I'm going to do Konoha a favor." He rushes at Naruto. Naruto holds his hands out in front to protect himself, and through his tears he pleads with Mizuki, "Stop!" All goes silent. Naruto is left there, wondering what's going on. He opens his eyes and sees Mizuki standing before him, unable to move. "What's happening?" Mizuki demands as he struggles against the technique. Naruto stands and looks at this. He makes his way past Mizuki, confused, and once more begins to run. Mizuki would catch up with him again, jumping down from above to strike Naruto, but for the second time he finds himself unable to move, this time suspended in midair. Naruto looks at his hands and realizes that he's the one doing this. He can stop any attack in its tracks. "How busted is this?" Naruto shouts with a grin and a laugh. He looks up at Mizuki. "Oh, what's wrong? I thought you were gonna kill me. What's up? Can't kill a little boy all by yourself? And you call yourself a chunin? More like a dumb nin." He then summons various shadow clones to absolutely stomp Mizuki. In the end, the scroll is returned, Naruto is pardoned, and Mizuki is thrown in prison for his crimes. Naruto would then be offered a Konoha forehead protector to prove that he is now a true Konoha shinobi. He would gladly receive this, preferring to use it instead of the goggles, wrapping it around his head, letting the cloth fall down over both eyes to reduce eye strain. It's not long after this that he ends up back at the academy to receive his new mentor and his team. The other kids think it's strange that Naruto is running around with his eyes covered. They think he must certainly be an idiot, and even a few kids try to pick on him about it, trying to trip him, but he easily steps over their feet and releases a small kick to knock their feet away, garnering attention from the other children. Naruto would wait by his seat. After the trick he pulled, Naruto is slowly getting more and more attention from others in class, which seems to steal the show from Sasuke a bit, not that he cares all that much. Sakura can't pull herself away from Sasuke, which leaves Naruto a little bitter. After some time, they're told that they're all on the same team together and told to go meet their new mentor, Kakashi Hatake. The group wait in anticipation of him. Kakashi eventually walks in and sees the group. Immediately seeing Naruto sitting there with his eyes covered, he speaks. "Well, you don't have to make fun of me." "I'm not," Naruto said. "Well, then you're copying me," Kakashi said. Naruto shakes his head. "No, I'm not copying you." Kakashi scoffs. "Whether the author wants to admit it or not, you're copying me." Naruto thinks how true this must be, but in the grand scheme of the story, it doesn't matter. They then have their standard meet and greet, which mostly doesn't change, with everyone asking and answering their own questions. But a new question crops up that everyone is interested to know, and it's why Naruto covers his eyes all the time. Naruto explains that his eyesight is so good that he gets eye strain just by keeping them open, so he keeps them covered, but also tells them not to worry because he can actually see just fine. Kakashi tosses an apple to Naruto to test if what he's saying is actually correct, and to his surprise, Naruto does catch the apple. Not only that, he tells Kakashi that he might want to wait a little before he eats it because it seems a little too green for him. He tosses it back. Kakashi is impressed, but then the question comes from Naruto. "I told you why my eyes are covered. It's only fair that you tell me why yours are." Kakashi smiles under his mask. "I would tell you if it was any of your business." "No fair, I told you mine," Naruto shouts. Kakashi raises a finger. Rule number 1 about being a shinobi. Never give away information you can't afford to lose. There's no guarantee you'll get anything in return for it. And so they begin the bell test as per usual. Naruto is very confident in this, but the issue is that his shadow clones are too weak to actually attack Kakashi, and his other ability, the Limitless, is a defensive ability that he hasn't figured out how to use in any other way, so there's no way for him to use it to get the bells. He'll have to draw Kakashi into an attack, and it seems that Kakashi is intentionally resisting engaging with Naruto in close quarters combat. This is likely because he has already heard about Naruto's Limitless ability. Despite what Naruto tries, he can't get close to Kakashi, and this bums him out. Convinced they'll fail anyway, he decides to basically quit and just eat lunch early, but Kakashi catches him. His punishment is to be tied to a post and left unfed in preparation for round 2, which will surely make him too weak to succeed. However, against orders, Sasuke and Sakura feed Naruto, knowing that their best chance of success is when everyone is at full strength, and that means Naruto too. This was the plan, however, and Kakashi passes them. After this, nothing happens until the Land of Waves mission. While on their way back to the Land of Waves with Tazuna, Naruto is suddenly targeted by the Demon Brothers, but Naruto holds out his hand and catches them in the Limitless, something that astounds everyone on his team as well as Tazuna. Kakashi had heard of this before, but up until now he had never witnessed it with his own eyes. He attempted to figure out what Naruto was doing in hopes that maybe it could be replicated, but from what he could see, this jutsu was a possible Kekkei Genkai, something bred into him to use that could not be replicated. Through this, Naruto manages to defeat the Demon Brothers, and when Zabuza shows up, Kakashi would more than likely attempt to face him alone, which leads to the same outcome. With Kakashi in the water prison, it's up to Naruto and Sasuke to deal with this, so they begin to come up with a plan. They settle on something simple. Naruto rushes Zabuza using the Limitless, and while Zabuza attempts to attack him, Sasuke sneaks around to break his grip on the prison. As Zabuza's blade is caught by Naruto, Sasuke makes his move and manages to free Kakashi. Together, they drive Zabuza off. Kakashi is left weakened by this and has to rest. During his time resting, Naruto questions him on his abilities, telling Kakashi that he's like Naruto and that he has a special eye technique too. Naruto wants to know more about it, and because Sasuke is standing by him with a demanding look on his face, having witnessed the use of the Sharingan by a non-Uchiha, Kakashi feels the need to tell them. I was once a part of a team very similar to this one. On that team, there was another boy named Obito who possessed the Sharingan. He considered me his rival, and I considered him an annoyance. We were never really all that close. If anything, I think he resented me for the most part. But one day, during the Third Shinobi World War, I was leading a mission and made a bad call, and nearly left one of my teammates to die. Obito refused this and raced back after her, and I followed soon after. I reached the battle just in time to save Obito from being killed, but in the process, lost my left eye. When all was said and done, we had won the battle and our friend was safe. However, a cave-in brought the cave down around us, and in a moment of self-sacrifice, Obito pushed me out of the cave, sacrificing his life. Oh, was that the friend you were telling me about? Naruto asked. Kakashi nodded. When you said you wanted your name on that monument for heroes, I told you it was a bad idea because it was a memorial for those who died defending Konoha. Obito's name was on it. Naruto nodded in understanding. Sasuke continued listening. Kakashi went on. Obito's entire right side was crushed. Only his left side was free, but he was dying. He told me he was sorry for not getting me a present when I became Jonin, and instead offered me a Sharingan to replace my lost eye, insisting that I take it. I didn't think I should, but he wanted me to, and made me promise to protect our friend Rin. And you did? Naruto asked. Kakashi sat there silently for a moment. No, I failed him on that front, too. Oh man, that's so sad, Naruto said. And what did the Uchiha say about it? Sasuke asked. They said that if it was Obito's dying wish, that it should be respected, and they agreed to let me keep it. Sasuke stood. Then I'm satisfied. He would walk off, leaving Naruto and Kakashi alone. I guess we're not too different, huh, Naruto? We both have special eyes that allow us to see things that the world can't. I can see what the world truly is, all the pain and suffering, and you can see what the world could be. Perhaps we were always meant to be student and mentor. Naruto smiled, and from there, Naruto and Sasuke trained until they collapsed to become better shinobi, worthy of making Kakashi and the whole of the Hidden Leaf proud. The day after, however, the bridge found itself under attack, and Naruto and Sasuke found themselves caught in the demonic mirroring ice crystals technique of Haku. However, as Haku threw Senbon down at his targets, Naruto caught them with his Limitless, ensuring that neither he nor Sasuke could be hurt. They began brainstorming a way to beat Haku, but in the end they didn't need to, as Kakashi had Zabuza on the ropes. This led to Haku abandoning his targets to sacrifice himself for Zabuza. A sacrifice that didn't really dissuade him much, as he still continued fighting Kakashi, even though he was completely outskilled. However, Haku's sacrifice was enough to help Zabuza change his way of thinking, and in the end, Zabuza gave his life to protect the bridge by killing Gato and the majority of his men. This seemed tragic to Naruto, but Kakashi informed him that this was what the shinobi world was, and that he would have to get used to it if they were going to make it as ninja. And so, the four returned home and reported that the mission was completed. Due to how the mission had suddenly become of higher rank than believed, and in seeing both the skill and abilities of his team, Kakashi recommended that they be allowed to enter the Chunin exams, to which Hiruzen eventually agreed. Kakashi would inform his team that they would join the exams, and they immediately rushed to sign up, stopping only once Naruto was challenged by Rock Lee. He said that he had heard of this blindfolded menace and his power, and he was there to test himself against Naruto. Naruto agreed to the match, with Sakura and Sasuke watching on with interest. Rock Lee would come at Naruto and attempt to use taijutsu on him, but Naruto's use of the Limitless's neutral ability, Infinity, kept any attacks from connecting. Naruto told Lee that he should just give up, as his technique ensured that nobody could ever cross this barrier. Lee would tell him that nothing is impossible so long as someone has the will to work toward it. He would grow more ferocious, to which Naruto continued to catch his attacks. He would then spawn shadow clones to attack Lee, but Lee would easily destroy each one. This left Naruto playing the defensive. He knew that if he remained like this, he would force a stalemate, but there was no honor in this, as he could never truly defeat Rock Lee without it. Lee was using no jutsu, Naruto was. If Naruto were to play fair, he would lose, and deep down this annoyed him. All the same, Lee, in his determination, began opening the inner gates, pushing all the way to 5, displaying a power that Naruto was astounded by. But what was worse was that Naruto was starting to feel Lee's perspiration on his skin as he drew closer. For a moment, it looked like Lee's fist drew half an inch closer. Naruto had to keep walking back because it looked like, despite the Limitless's infinity, Lee was growing closer. How was this possible? Well, Sakura, who had been studying this, surmised it for Sasuke as such. When Naruto uses his Limitless ability, he takes a finite amount of space and divides the distance infinitely, essentially turning a finite amount of space into an infinite one. But this isn't immediately infinite. Now, the rate of division is only as fast as Naruto can divide, and it seems that Lee's speed is increasing to the point that it's overtaking the rate to which Naruto is dividing. Sasuke would nod, so his absolute defense isn't as absolute as it seems. It can be defeated with speed. Sakura nods. With sufficient speed, one should cross the distance that Naruto's dividing. As he grows stronger, the threshold may increase, but right now a fast enough shinobi should be able to get through it. Sasuke scoffs. That's what happens when you only play defense. However, before Lee could touch Naruto, he's stopped by Might Guy, who's appalled that Rock Lee would use his teachings so recklessly. And considering how much strain he put on himself, he's damaged his bones and muscles quite a bit, to the point that Guy isn't exactly sure that Lee would make it through the Chunin exams, so Lee is pulled out to rest. The rest of Team 7 make their way to registration, where they enter the exams. The first test is the written test, and Naruto actually manages to do well with this, as his 6 eyes give him such good perception that he's able to copy his paper from someone else. And when the final question is asked, he takes it, as does the rest of Team 7. This leads to them being passed for their gutsiness and allows them to go on to the next round. This new round consists of them entering a forest where they must make it to the center bearing both their Heaven Scroll and an Earth Scroll, which they must steal from another team. During their time here, Naruto and Sasuke are attacked by Orochimaru, and Naruto manages to defend Sasuke from Orochimaru with his Limitless Infinity technique. This stops Orochimaru from biting Sasuke and ensures that Orochimaru can't touch them. Naruto and Sasuke then launch a counter-offensive against Orochimaru, driving him off. Having left behind his Earth Scroll, Team 7 take it and make it to the center of the forest in near record time, coming in behind only Gaara and his Sand siblings. With this done, they pass this round and continue on to the next, which consists of exhibition matches, to which Naruto, through his Limitless technique, his battle IQ that's constantly developing, and his Shadow Clone Jutsu, manages to win. They're given a month off to train, however, and during that month, Naruto and Jiraiya meet for the first time. Taking it upon himself to train Naruto, who possesses the Nine Tails and is also the son of both Minato and Kushina. Together, they work on connecting with the Nine Tails and Toad summoning. However, Naruto didn't even know he was the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, let alone that he could use it, so Jiraiya has to take some drastic measures to ensure that Naruto actually learns how to draw power from this beast. As he falls from the cliff, Naruto is sucked into his subconscious where he meets Kurama for the first time. The beast seems hostile, but a part of him is intrigued by Naruto. "What are you?" Naruto asks. "I could ask the same of you," Kurama shoots back. "You're not like an ordinary human. You possess something more within you. Something different from chakra." Naruto's confused. "What do you mean?" Kurama's grin pulls up to the side of his face. "Within you, there's a darkness, like hatred, negative emotions that are without bound. I can sense it. But more than just emotion, you're now using them as a power source, an energy secondary to chakra. I am intrigued." Naruto is left speechless. Kurama continues. "Fine. I shall let you borrow some of my chakra for now, but only because I wish to see what you're capable of in the future." And with that, Naruto is back in the real world, plummeting to his doom. He would suddenly summon a toad, Gamabunta of all people. Naruto would explain to Jiraiya what Kurama had said, as well as these strange abilities Naruto had been born with. Jiraiya then begins to think that it's best if the two of them also train with this new ability. Naruto makes use of Yin Release and Yang Release, and Jiraiya listens to him and believes that they could use the concepts to take whatever energy source Kurama was talking about and form it into something new. And so he and Naruto begin further incorporating this new cursed energy, as they've come to call it, into his Limitless technique, which allows for the discovery of Cursed Technique Lapse, Blue. Through this technique, Naruto is suddenly capable of manipulating space-time in a different way, in such a way that he's able to create vacuums which can crush things or pull things to him, allow him to move at ungodly speeds, or even teleport. Or so Jiraiya theorizes. Naruto truly hasn't learned the latter, as it would require enough focus to be able to rip reality to him from such a distance. But in the short term, he can at least move fast enough that he can mimic the body flicker technique. Jiraiya believes that this technique will make Naruto even faster than Minato Namikaze. Naruto at this point is just happy that he has a technique that can be used offensively. And so Naruto returns to the Chunin exams after his month of training and finds that he's now capable of far more than he was before. Naruto is set to fight against Neji, but the moment their battle begins, Neji is in trouble. He can see Naruto's chakra points, but he can't strike them, as every time Neji gets close enough, he's struck by an invisible wall that seems to slow down anything that passes into it. Naruto's shadow clones seem to do some damage, but the battle truly comes to an end when Naruto uses Cursed Technique Lapse Blue on him. Naruto is angered by what Neji did to Hinata, and he feels like returning the favor a little, and only minorly crushes Neji's body. Alright, it's hard to minorly crush anyone, but Naruto does it gently enough as to not cripple Neji for life. After this comes the battle between Sasuke and Gaara, but before Sasuke can win, Gaara has a flip out and rushes off with his siblings, and Sasuke chases after. Kabuto would then cast a genjutsu over everyone and put them to sleep. However, Naruto does not fall asleep because his eyes are covered and he doesn't technically see the feathers fall. And even if he does, then his eyes are attentive enough to recognize what's going on and spare him from the genjutsu. Sakura also manages to figure out what it does quickly and closes her eyes. The two set off after Gaara and Sasuke, all the while Hiruzen and Orochimaru battle it out. Naruto and Sakura eventually catch up with Sasuke and aid him in fighting against Gaara, who proceeds to release Shukaku. Naruto, using Cursed Technique Lapse Blue, is capable of levitating in the air by manipulating the space around him. He manages to get close to Gaara despite Shukaku's attacks, all of which miss because of Limitless, and he manages to pull Gaara free, defeating Shukaku for the time being. All the same, he lets Gaara go, letting him know that he knows what it's like to be hated by his village, and that he has a demon fox inside of him just as Gaara has a demon tanuki. He does tell Gaara that he won't let anyone hurt his friends, and tells him not to return if he has ill intent, elsewise next time Naruto won't be so merciful. Gaara escapes and Team 7 return to the village. However, there's not much to return to, as the village has been decimated by Orochimaru's attack, and Hiruzen is dead. Orochimaru escaped, but not without cost, as his arms are now weakened due to being sealed away with the Reaper Death Seal. The entire village laments the loss of their Hokage, but time must move forward, and Jiraiya is asked to bring Tsunade in to be the next Hokage. Jiraiya would ask Naruto to help him, and Naruto would agree. The two set off, but just as they're leaving, Itachi and Kisame show up in the village searching for Naruto, where they run afoul of Kakashi and Might Guy. Itachi manages to cast Kakashi under Tsukiyomi, but Itachi and Kisame both are caught off guard by Might Guy's strength and are forced to flee. This is hardly a deterrent though, as by this time they've realized that Naruto is out of the village. They pursue him and eventually catch up with him in a small town where they attack. However, Sasuke, who had heard that Itachi had shown up, chases him down to kill him, but only gets bodied by his older brother and left in a Genjutsu Itachi cast. Jiraiya and Naruto fight against Itachi and Kisame, pushing them back. And when Might Guy arrives, Itachi and Kisame feel that they've been outmatched and flee. Might Guy takes Sasuke with him and wishes them luck. Naruto and Jiraiya continue to the village where Tsunade is housed and attempt to convince her to return to Konoha, but she refuses and instead plans to stay right where she is. Unbeknownst to them, however, Orochimaru has contacted her and asked her to heal him. Tsunade plans to kill Orochimaru, and when that time comes, Naruto and Jiraiya crash the party and attempt to help Tsunade kill the snake. Orochimaru faces Jiraiya while Kabuto faces Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto manages to deflect all the attacks that Kabuto attempts to use with his limitless infinity. With a near absolute defense, speed, and an attack that utilizes an intense vacuum to crush the body of anyone who's unlucky enough to be caught in it, Naruto has Kabuto outclassed and defeats him. They then manage to push Orochimaru back with this technique, and Orochimaru flees with Kabuto. Tsunade, impressed by Naruto's strength and conviction, decides to return to Konoha with them to become the next Hokage. She heals both Sasuke and Kakashi and takes up the mantle of Hokage. However, during this time, Sasuke is visited by the Sound Four, who make him promises of power and strength in ways that Sasuke could only dream of. They offer him the same kind of power they have, and Sasuke accepts. They brand him with the Cursed Seal of Heaven and give him medication to speed along his awakening. However, this gets out, and Sakura tells everyone that Sasuke's left the village. She begs Naruto to bring him back, and Naruto promises that he will. He rushes off with the Sasuke Recovery Unit and chases down the rogue Uchiha and the Sound Four. Along the way, the Sound Four break off to target the pursuing Konoha forces, and Kimimaro even shows up to put a stop to their advances. However, Rock Lee and Gaara appear to give Naruto a chance to sneak past. Naruto does so and catches up with Sasuke at the Valley of the End. There, Naruto demands that Sasuke stop running and return to the village. Sasuke refuses this, telling Naruto that he needs the power. "Do you know what I see?" Sasuke asks. "I see everyone around me developing new techniques and powers, and I'm not getting any stronger." Naruto listens silently as Sasuke continues. "You can fly now, Naruto. You manipulate space around you to do whatever you want. You think you're untouchable, and so far no one's been able to touch you. And now you've even learned how to turn this into an attack. I wish I had powers like that, but I don't. I wasn't born naturally blessed like you. I have to fight for my strength like a dirty dog in the streets. Well, if that's what I need to do, then it's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to Orochimaru. I will take the power that belongs to me, and I will kill Orochimaru for it." Naruto grimaces. "You know he's just gonna take your body, don't you? What does Orochimaru gain from this, Sasuke?" Sasuke smiles. "Don't you worry about that." He activates his curse mark. "I'm going to Orochimaru, and I'm not gonna let you stop me." Sasuke rushes at Naruto, who blocks the attack with infinity. Naruto would try to push him back with Lapse Blue. "I don't want to hurt you, Sasuke. Why are you making me do this?" "I'm not making you do anything, Naruto," he shouts back. "You're the one forcing me to do things I don't want to do." Naruto and Sasuke continue to clash, and each time Sasuke fails to get through infinity. However, unlike last time, Naruto manages to catch Sasuke with Lapse Blue. "Dumbass! You utter dumbass! If you don't come back willingly, then I'll drag your broken body back. I may have promised to return you to the village, but I never promised that you'd be in good condition when I did." Naruto begins to crush Sasuke. But before he could finish, Sasuke suddenly entered his second stage with a flare of chakra. This broke Naruto's hold on him. Sasuke then rushed Naruto with his fists out. Naruto activated Limitless again, but to his surprise, Sasuke managed to break through it. His speed had exceeded the speed of Naruto's division, and thus allowed Sasuke to strike Naruto in the chest, knocking the wind out of him. Sasuke knew that he had just stunned Naruto. He knew he needed to do as much damage to him as possible before he recovered if he planned to win. And so he punched Naruto in the face, causing him to skid along the face of the water. Sasuke would rush over and grip Naruto by the skull, flying along the rock face of the valley, smashing Naruto into it and dragging him across it. He would then fly into the air and throw Naruto down to the ground as hard as he could. Naruto hit the ground, causing a crater, and Sasuke then dive-bombed him, dropping down on his stomach with as much force as he could muster. He then kicked Naruto along the surface of the water. Seeing Naruto just floating there, Sasuke knew he had beaten him. "So much for your absolute defense," he said. He then flared his wings and flew off. It didn't take much longer for Kakashi to find Naruto. He lifted him up into his arms and saw how broken and battered he was. He then looked up into the sky as it was starting to rain. Sasuke. Elsewhere, Sasuke flew all the way to Otogakure, where Orochimaru's current location was. Sasuke stepped in and was greeted by Kabuto, who led him to Orochimaru. Orochimaru offered him the most flowery welcome one could imagine, but Sasuke brushed it aside to speak. "I've come for strength, but I'm not letting you take my body. I know you want to." Orochimaru raised a brow at him as he spoke. Sasuke continued, "However, I have a vessel far better for you to inhabit, one that possesses powers and techniques beyond that of even the Sharingan, one I'll be willing to provide in exchange for all the strength you can give me." Orochimaru sat forward. "I'm listening." Sasuke smiled. "I'll give you Naruto Uzumaki." And that's where I plan to stop it for now. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with this one. It seemed a little tough to properly adapt the Limitless techniques to the story that I had imagined, but in the end, I think I set up something that could be a very interesting watch. I hope I did this what if some justice. Be sure to let me know in the comments how I did, things you might have done differently, and things you want to see in the future. Be sure to also send us more video ideas. We love it when you send them in. You can also submit your video ideas at Amagi Publishing. We'll leave a link down below for you. Anyway, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified of our latest videos as they drop, and until next time, peace.
Did you enjoy our video? Well then be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.